If you'd said to me 15 or 20 years ago, you're going to get your most success in your entire career from a video game. Yeah, right. Nate, come on. And I had no idea, none of us had any idea what we were beginning. Hey, here, take the wheel. What? Stay out of your goddamn mind.
Yep, probably.
When we started making Uncharted 1, there was a lot of younger people at the studio.
Most of us, when we started in this industry, we started in our early 20s. And when we started, every hero, every character was in their early 20s. And as we get older as developers, we make experiences that relate to us and characters that relate to us.
Games and any art tends to reflect the mentalities and the things that the people who make the art think about. And in this case, we've definitely had a long time to grow up while we're making Uncharted, and it seemed only fitting for Drake to continue to grow in that sense.
It adds another element to the story that we can play with. Our characters haven't been fixed or frozen in time.
I mean, he looks like a kid in 1 because of the smoothness of the textures, because of the smoothness of the modeling. And back then, that was really good, right? And as we got better and as the platforms got better, you can see him not only get more complex and more sophisticated, but he also is aging. We're showing more of the things that we could not show before. The subtlety of wrinkles, the subtlety of skin pores.
But there's a lot of things that we need to keep in mind. For example, we cannot really just age them as normal people do. He's a hero character.
You're going to see the physical effects of what's happening to Drake. He is an everyman. He doesn't just escape with a laugh. Like, these things are taking its toll.
But I think that humanizes a fictional character even more. You see him maturing not only in age, but in wisdom.
Now, Sully has had this thing right from the beginning, right from the first game. And this was something that I added at some point. Says, I'm too old for this shit.
No. If you're gearing up for one of your I'm too old for this speeches, spare me.
I think now that Nathan is beginning to have that thought himself.
Come on. We got a treasure to find. Hold on, man. I mean, what are we doing?
And this is the one where, like, it gets to the root of who is he? What's important to him? And that is really why we wanted to tell this story, is we wanted to get to the heart of what drives Nathan Drake.
We played with some of the themes of growing up with responsibility in the previous Uncharted's, but I think when it came down to it, it was all about what did Nathan Drake want in his life. He was willing to risk everything for treasure.
But as you get older, you want your life to be worth something more. You want to have an impact.
It's kind of an interesting perspective to see our hero grow up a bit and having to deal with themes like family and future, and not just be caught up in the moment of finding just a treasure. He's actually thinking long term and what this might mean for his future.
One of the things I've loved about this from the beginning is the evolution of this family unit that has developed.
From an acting standpoint, it's always fun to get to play someone that you enjoy for this long. Because in this industry, you play a part and they fade very quickly and you have to move on to the next one. So I have quite a fondness and an attachment to Miss Elena Fisher. She starts off super passionate, very gung-ho, I'm all for adventure. And then you see as she gets closer to Nate and as she gets closer to Sullivan, as she gets closer to these dangerous events, we see her not step back, but just become more aware and more cautious, I think, of what an adventure means and what it might cost.
And I think as we grow older, we actually kind of get a chance to look back at our lives and see what's important to us and how the decisions that we've made have kind of impacted where we're at and maybe where we're going.
That's a very similar journey to Nathan Drake, right? If you look at him in Uncharted 1, here's a guy that makes huge sacrifices as far as his personal life to achieve greatness.
And I think, in a way, we're seeing that happen with both Naughty Dog and the Uncharted franchise in general.
And as a game developer, you know, this is hard work. Like, people think it's like you're here playing games all the time, and sure, that happens every once in a while, but for the most time, this is very hard, grueling work. A lot of times it's long hours, and you make personal sacrifices.
We're taking that experience and putting it into the art that we're making, so that when you play Uncharted 4, you're going, oh, okay, you know, this has more character depth to it, this has more visual depth to it. We're trying to bring everything as creative people that we're experiencing and funnel that into the medium in which we're working.
Wisdom comes from experience and time. And Nathan Drake certainly has had enough experiences that lends itself to a lot of wisdom if he's paying attention. It's been one of the most rewarding characters I've ever been handed because from the get-go I was encouraged to put as much of myself into this character as possible, and it has just been the greatest ride of my life these last 10 years.
You're with this character for years, and you're in this world for years, and you go home on the weekends and you're eating dinner with your family and you're thinking about those characters in that world, and it's such a part of you that to walk away is very hard, as I'm sure it will be at the end of this game.
For me as a designer, for Naughty Dog as a studio, I think that feeling kind of permeates through everything we're doing as a developer. And maybe to a fault, that's like, this is the last one you're gonna do. This is the last one you're gonna get to make. So anything that you wanted to have, it has to go in. It has to be there.
And as a group, we just got closer and tighter together with each game that we've made.
And so over time, we've just gotten we've just learned from our mistakes over and over again. So I think that kind of sophistication is a big part of growing more mature. And I think players are gonna see that in Uncharted 4.
So all we can really do as a team is make something that's really personal to us, use everything that we've learned in the past to kind of elevate the medium one step further, to challenge ourselves to go into areas that we're uncomfortable with, and we do that with every game, and hopefully we come out on the other side with something great.
The biggest fear that keeps me up at night is, are we really gonna do this? It's a huge game with all these new systems.
It's not one thing that makes it hard, it's everything. I guess it's kind of cliche, but I guess that's kind of the fun and the challenge of it too.
We don't make it sequentially. We're jumping around from part to part, so we don't really know 100% what it's gonna be like until the very end.
And sometimes it can be a bit scary. You look at that end date that's just getting closer and closer.
All of our fans love Drake. We don't want to, make our last Drake game and have it not be the best Uncharted game we can make.
It's selfish in a way. We want to do the fan service and completing everything that everyone else wants to see. The thing is, we are probably some of the biggest fans ourselves.
The fans' reaction, sometimes even when it's negative, is one of the best perks of the job, in that you are able to reach other people and you get to see how much they care.
We get letters sometimes from people that they say, this has changed my life. Something shifted in playing that. It's I learned something. It's wow, we did that. We created something that touched people.
That inspired them in the way that movies and games and comics have inspired me and the people I work with. And to know that, someday someone is going to be way better at this, and somehow I got them on that path, is just overwhelming with gratitude of that I get to do this, that this is my job.
And so whenever we see a really cool letter from someone that they email in, or we got a huge scrapbook once of all this different art that someone had put together, that really touches us, and we appreciate it on a super deep level.
Some of the most fulfilling things you can find in real life are those connections you have with people and those moments of understanding or play, and that's a much rarer thing in a video game. It's far rarer to find your character having a moment with another character that means a lot to you. And I think that just now and again, we just come a little close to reproducing some of that fulfillment and enjoyment that you get from real life characters, from real people.
I really hope that people can see the effort that we put in to make the character more alive.
When I see those cutscenes coming in, I see that facial animation, just the subtext you can get in these scenes. I've never seen it in Uncharted, I've never seen it in a game.
The level of authenticity that our characters are starting to take on honestly has such emotion to it that I'm really proud of us as a studio for putting that out there.
And everyone here at Naughty Dog is a storyteller. We have something important to say to the story and help immerse them in the world of Nathan Drake and Elena Fisher.
As you play through the series, you do sort of begin to develop an affinity for the characters and an understanding of what motivates them, and I hope that this game kind of brings that all to a nice crescendo. I hope people cry when they play it, and I hope that they laugh when they play it.
We've always made sure that that's part of our vision, and that's it. It's like we want people to say, once they put it down, be like, I just had a ton of fun.
Heads up! I'll take that.
Every game, every year has been, a new thing to learn, a new thing to accomplish, and we're never done. And I wouldn't want to be.
I hope the whole industry keeps moving forward, because it has been. There's no slowing down, and this is just another step on that road.
There's a lot of memories there, and to leave it behind, it's funny. I'm working on this layout right now with one of the last traversal sequences in the game, and there's this one jump, and every single player that we've watched playtest it stops at the gap and kind of looks and like questions like, can I make that? It's a pretty big jump. And they go for it, and you see Nathan Drake flailing his arms wildly, and Nathan Drake reaches out and he grabs that last handhold, and that's our last epic jump in the Uncharted series. And that to me is like, I'm getting a little choked up. Yeah, it's a lot of memories there.
When you work on a franchise for this long, you become a unit, you become a family. And you could tell that everybody just wanted to make something that was really, really good.
See, you two made it out okay.
Way better than okay. We found the battalion.
I've had a lot of time to reflect on everything that's happened, and I have to be careful not to get too emotional, because this has been the greatest opportunity that I've ever had.
The journey I have personally had with Elena and with this story has been one of extreme thankfulness and gratitude and growth, just as a person and as an actor.
I had to protect you.
That is bullshit, Nate. You just didn't have the nerve to face me.
And this particular game, right from the beginning, was like being a little kid playing again with your friends.
Let's check it out, huh?
Wait. Something about this feels kind of hinky.
Hinky.
And it was just such fun to go to work every day. It's been a great ride. I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I'm gonna miss this guy. Just bring me back something shiny, will you?
I think the quality of the story really is just this kind of very emotionally satisfying, beautiful denouement to the Nathan Drake story.
And everything is like you're playing through it. It's not something you're just watching passively. We're using our medium to the fullest. And you're hauling down this alleyway at 40, 60 miles an hour, but you're like, that was awesome. Look at that. That was cool. And that's Naughty Dog.
Making video games is our adventure. It's our Uncharted.
It's been a perfect blend from the actors and directors on the mocap stage to what happens back at the Naughty Dog building when the designers and programmers and artists and everybody puts that stuff together. I hope that can sit on somebody's shelf and they can revisit it years later and go, oh, this was a great series. This was so much fun.
I hope more than anything people are entertained. That from the opening shot to that final closing image, that you don't want to put the controller down.
One of the animators had suggested adding some dance moves as multiplayer taunts, and I thought that was a good idea. And I was thinking about it more, and I was like, no, that's a great idea.
I'm Matt Stefanina.
My name is Dana Alexa.
And I'm choreographer here on set today. Well, I actually ended up here today because Jeremy, the lead animator on the game, his daughter saw one of my YouTube videos.
And I was just like, these guys are incredible. It had just clicked that like, they'll be perfect for this. We have to try to bring them in. This was a new experience for both us and them.
This is a first for me. The suit is tight.
It's kind of like scuba diving, and the hat is like,
it's a little hard. There's no swag. You know, you're trying to do your grooves and stuff, and I miss my baggy pants.
But all in all, I mean, it's super fun, and it's so cool to look back at the monitor and see like video game version of yourself doing like the nay and stuff. It's crazy.
Every little movement, every little tick that you do, we bring it back to the studio, sharpen everything, and then we're able to put it into the game. We went into it not planning on capturing their face, but so much of it is in the facial expression. There's so much attitude that goes in there.
Your body language and how you lower your chin or lean into something tells so much about whether you're being aggressive or you're being cocky or you're being funny.
We're basically dance battling. So it's kind of fun to be able to kind of poke fun at some of like the dance crazes and stuff and, you know, make them more light.
We're not necessarily doing these for dancers. We're doing them for people that want to have a mixture of dancing but also just general entertainment. They want to see their character kill somebody and then hit a dance move in their face.
We're very serious about our story, but it was just a chance for our production team to just kind of work on something fun.
Walking in here this morning and just actually being in a location where video games are made was something that I've thought about honestly since I was a little kid playing Game Boy. Like, how do you make Tetris? You know, and now of course it's like so crazy and far beyond that, but just seeing everything from the props, the motion capture suits, the playback, all the different things that go into it, this is really an honor to be here.